Okay, so I think we have a fair bit amount of people. I'll just introduce myself quick. My name is Kim Kerr. I'm one of the league coordinators with Calgary Minor Soccer. And then we also have on Rachel Hugh, who is the other league coordinator for Calgary Minor Soccer. And we also have on our caller operations manager, Melissa Collinson. All right, so we were going to start with a light acknowledgement. Just wondering, can everyone give me a hands raised or thumbs up if you can see my screen with that light acknowledgement? Perfect. Excellent. Thanks. So I don't want to butcher any of the names out of respect. So if you could just take a quick moment and have a quick read over this slide for me, please.
What? Kim, I'm just seeing the team manager one on mine.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Selected in two different spots. Excellent. All right, so we're just going to have a brief run through of CMSA mission and vision, and also CMSA values. CMSA mission and vision. Our mission is dedicated to working with our member organizations to develop, organize, and promote opportunities which allow all participants to achieve their full potential in a safe, meaningful, and inclusive environment. And our vision is elevating and uniting our community through soccer. Rachel, did you want to read our values?
Sure. CMSA values, leadership. We provide ongoing leadership in the sport of soccer and deliver services in a progressive manner. Stewardship. We demonstrate fiscal responsibility, accountability, and good business practices. Integrity. We conduct all business in an honest, ethical, and transparent manner. Excellence. We strive for and support the achievement of excellence amongst our members, players, volunteers, and staff. Communication. We engage in collaborative discussions with our members and other stakeholders.
Perfect. Okay, so our agenda for tonight, we're going to go over rules and regulations, what is needed for team officials, schedules and game sheets. So I'll go through of how to log in as a team manager, how to print game sheets, edit jersey numbers, score games, all of that sort of fun stuff. We'll go over provincial championship qualifications. That's for U13 and up age groups, as well as all of the forms that you may need to find and where to find it, all of that sort of fun stuff. We also will have our chat. Rachel will be running our chat as well. So please ask questions in the chat, no problem. If you're jumping ahead, it's just we'll get to it, but ask questions about kind of what we're talking about right now. If you have any feedback, concerns, or just want it kind of explained a little bit better, we're more than welcome to have that in there. At the end of the meeting tonight, we'll put in our emails for you if you had any extra questions that you can send us a quick email about it. All right. So our first slide is rules and regulations. So ineligible players, team officials. Ineligible players is usually two things. It's your waiver or their proof of age. Okay, so the waiver on the web, you can find all of this information in our rules and regs, which I can show you on the website as well. But the waiver, there is a spot on the website. I'll just go to the website quick and then I'll show that to you. It's easier to explain the ineligibility of the players when I'm showing you on the game sheets, but if there's an ineligible beside the name, it's either the proof of age or the waiver. Where you guys look at the rosters, under their birth dates, it'll say unverified or verified. If it's unverified, that means that we do not have a proof of age in their profile or have seen a proof of age, so that needs to be submitted. And then also it could be that they're ineligible due to the player waiver. But I'll show you how to see that all on the roster when we get to the roster portion. So on the website, this is one of the big tools that you'll see. You'll be able to see your schedule, standings, league. Under league is the rules and regulations. This is where you're going to find that. And it's spinning. There we go. So important documents, the rules and regulations. This is a big document. This is where you're going to find you'll find rules, everything that you need. You'll need for the player call-ups, the call-up rules. You'll need it for the, what else do you look at quickly through there? Team official rules. What do you need to be eligible? Numbers of rosters, all of that sort of stuff you will find in any of these documents here on the website. All right. As we're going through, we'll go through all the forms since we're on this as well. The player waiver. You can also find a link to a player waiver page under play. So if you go under play and you click either photo ID cards for your photo IDs or player waiver. So your player waiver is here. There is a step-by-step guide for your parents and players, as well as there is a spot that you can download an actual printable version, and then you can just email us a copy of this. If you do have multiple ineligibles due to waivers on your roster, I do highly recommend printing off a few copies of these and taking them either to your practice if you have one before your games this weekend, or even take it to the game, and then you'll be able to get the parents to fill them out there prior to them playing and stepping on the field if they haven't already completed that. Photo ID cards. Photo ID cards are only for U11 or higher. They are $10 if it's your first one, and you can come to our office. We're here tonight until 8 o'clock, and as well as tomorrow till 4. And then this weekend, we do have photo ID appointments at the Genesis Center from 10 to 5, both Saturday and Sunday.
Kim, we have a question in the chat. I have players labeled as transferred in. Are they able to play?
Yes, they're able to play. I'm trying to get through all of the rosters that are playing this weekend to fix that. It's just a glitch in our system when the clubs added them to the roster prior to them actually being transferred, and it just gives an error message. So when I accepted the transfer, it just didn't click in onto the other side. So if you want to send me a quick email at the end of the day, of the meeting, I will, and just tell me what team that is, and I'll just make sure that it's done right away for you.
Do managers need CMSA cards? They don't. It's not mandatory to have a CMSA card as a manager, but we highly, highly recommend it. You are on the rosters, so you'll have to complete the CPIC as well as the respect. It's good to have them if your coach gets stuck in traffic, an emergency comes up, you would have a card to be qualified to have that game continue to be played. So we do highly recommend it, but it's not mandatory.
Sorry, my slides keep disappearing on me and I can't find it back. There we go. I found it. Can you see the agenda? Okay. All right. Rules and regs. Oh, there we go. Play ups. So in the rules and regs, you'll be able to find what is play ups or call ups. It's called two different things people know about. You'll be able to find a chart or a step-by-step guide of who you can use for a call up. So obviously a lower age, but if it's the same age, it'll be a lower tier or level. U11s and U10s and 11s, they can play across the board. It doesn't matter what group they're in or anything like that. So you could definitely do that. you will just write that play up or that call up's name on your game sheet. That is all you'll need. The only time that you'll need a form is for any U10 call ups. So if you're a U11 or higher team and you call up a U10 or lower player, you're going to need to go to our forms page that's on our website, and there's a restricted movement pass. That is for the U10 players and lower, due to the point that they do not have player cards. So you'll need to fill out one of those restricted movement passes just for the U10s and below. Okay, so any of the call-ups higher than that, they do not need those. You just write their name legibly on the game sheets as CMSA staff go through every single game sheet that comes into the office to verify all eligibility of all the players. All right. Any questions about play ups? Fantastic. Excellent.
Oh, sorry, Kim. So we have, I've noticed that team managers are by the bench, team bench during games and do not have the CMSA card. They may be asked to leave the area and join parents.
Yes, so you'll
Yes,
need the card if you're on the bench.
yep. That's why we highly recommend that managers get those cards. If you don't have a card, you can't be on the bench unless you're a bench parent. And then we have, but do we need to get their player card for play up?
Yes. So any player card, any players that you're using. So pretty much no card, no play. So the players that you're going to be calling up, or if your own child is a call up for other teams as well, make sure that they have their cards with them. No pictures of cards are going to be allowed. It has to be the physical card. So for those players that do a lot of jumping around and being call-ups for multiple teams, please make sure that they hang on to their own cards, and then they'll be able to just keep it in their bag for all of the times that they do play as call-ups. Please keep track of your play ups. The players are allowed to play 6 times. That's the max per team. So if I am a manager of a U12 Tier 1 team, I'm calling up Henry. He's a U12 Tier 2 or 3 player. I can call him up to my team 6 times. But Henry can be called up to another team 6 times as long as it's in the rules and regulations for that. Okay, so keep track of your play ups. Keep
Uh,
track of them in a binder or something.
we do have a question. We have one ineligible player. What's their cutoff to submit the missing documentation so they can play this Saturday? So what we're asking is they need to have the waiver and or the proof of age submitted into our info@Calgary Minor Soccer email prior to stepping on that field. So if they can, or they can print off the form. You can have the form printed, the paperwork printed off for the waiver, have them fill it out at the game, and then make sure that form gets sent in right away.
Okay. Um, Perfect. Grant had asked what a bench parent is. Bench parent is someone who is not on the roster, but if you have a boys team and your coach is female, it's mandatory that you do have an adult on the bench that is of the same gender. So we always want to follow the rule of two in all situations, in games, in practices. So please ensure that there's always, you will need to have 2 people on the bench, coach, an assistant coach, minimum 2, maximum 4. And if just the one coach is only going to be there, please ensure that you grab a parent, and they will be a bench parent. So you'll write their name on the bench parent spot, that's on the game sheet, which I'll show you in a little bit as well. Okay. The bench parents don't need to have cards. They are just strictly a bench parent. They don't coach. They don't Anything from the sidelines, there's just strictly there to sit on the bench with those players.
Will refs accept Demisphere player cards as ID if a player card is missing? It says on the Demisphere digital card ID for validation used by game officials. We do not recognize digital cards as a proof of registration and waiver, or we don't accept them at the end of the day. So you have to have a physical player card with you. No player card, no being on that field. I have players that haven't been added to my roster. They have switched teams in the club. Can I just write them on the game card for Saturday? They have waivers done. Tim?
Contact your club. Your club is in charge of adding players to and from rosters. If you aren't, if you play that player and they aren't rostered on any team yet this season, that is an ineligible player. So we definitely don't want that to happen. So please, right now, reach out to your club. You can CC us as well, just so we get notification on it. But reach out to your club as soon as possible to make sure that they get that done and they add those players properly to the rosters. It's for insurance liability and everything. Players must be on current outdoor 25 rosters.
And then what about if the transfer is in progress as per the club?
I'm working on transfers. I think I got another 30 or so transfers today that I just haven't got to. I will get to them, but they will be transferred. If you have any concerns about it, send your club an email and just find out what the status of that is. But we definitely need to have them transferred before they step on the field for sure. Okay, field marshals, that's the next item on our under rules and regs. Field marshals is a parent, grandparent, spectator that is on the other side of the field, so where the spectators watch. They are one who is in charge of your spectators for your team. So they are in charge of keeping your team, not the other teams, keeping your team's parents under control. We want to help minimize the ref berating sometimes that happens, the yelling at other teams' players. We really want to stop that, and we want to do good for our referees. We have a lot of up and coming younger referees that are starting out, and we want them to have good experiences because we really need to keep them. We need to retain those referees. If they constantly are getting berated from the sidelines, they're not going to want to do that job anymore. And it's really hard to have games without referees. So please sign your game sheet. So I guess print the name of the field marshal on the game sheet and ensure that they're there. We do have orange armbands for the field marshals that your clubs probably have handed out in team packages. If they haven't, give our office a call and we can for sure supply some to you as well.
Okay, Kim, so we have can a team manager not on the bench be a field marshal? Yes, they can. If you're not going to be on the bench, you can absolutely be a field marshal. And field marshal badges, if your clubs don't have them, we have badges in the office or armbands in the office. Please drop in and grab one. Those armbands are mandatory for field marshals. That's the way the referee can take a quick glance over the field and recognize the field marshal if they need any support with parents or coach behavior. And we won't have armbands here on the weekend. What we can do is maybe we'll send some with
We'll send some with Kyle.
Yeah,
to the Genesis.
to the Genesis Center, or you can come in tomorrow and pop in.
Yeah.
We're here 10 till 4.
Yeah. So I will show when I go through the game sheet, I'll show you the spot where it is to print the name of the field marshal on that spot. But it is important to make sure that that field marshal has a name on it every single game sheet. Okay, so it's really important. You will, if you do not write any names on those, you will get a warning letter from our discipline coordinator for the first time, and then there is a fine for the second and forward times as well. So please ensure that that line is filled out properly. Okay. Teal shirt referees, since we're talking about referees, our new upcoming referees will be wearing teal shirts. They're teal in color. On the back of their shirt, I believe it does say first year referee. So especially take in mind of helping out those referees. Even at the end of the game, say thank you for refereeing. Good job. I'm proud of you. Hype them up a bit, make them happy to be there. Okay. That is one of the biggest things that we really need to give feedback to them. We do have feedback for the team managers and coaches, team officials to give referee feedback on our website. It's under referees. There's a referee feedback form. And we really like to have good and bad, like send us the good feedback too, because mostly we only get the bad feedback, the negative feedback. But we would really love to be able to tell our referees some good feedback about their games as well. We also do have underneath in our rules and regs under the forms, we do have a referee abuse notification. So if you do see a young referee or any referee being abused constantly by a specific coach, parents, a team, something like that, please fill out that referee abuse form that we have and submit it so then we can take care of that. We can take care of our referees.
Field marshals, we want you to have your name printed on the game sheet. We don't need it signed, but we'd like your name printed, first and last name, and clearly. That is, if we do have anything that comes in for the referees or any abuse or discipline, and we need to reach out to you for any reason, we just need that to be clear. So if those conversations need to be had, we know who you are. Coaches, same thing. We want their name written clearly on those game sheets. When we get to the game sheets, Kim will show you where all of that is. So just hang tight. She's getting to an example of that, and then she can show you where to place names.
The feedback forms, I will show you quick where you can find those feedback forms. I just have to get this to open up. That would be great. There we go. Okay, so the feedback forms under referees for the referee evaluation form, they're all here underneath referees. So there's a referee evaluation form that is for the team officials, not parents, to fill out that form for good and positive and negative feedback. The referee abuse reporting form, I believe anybody could fill that out. So if you're a parent on the sideline and you hear that, definitely come and fill that stuff out and get that submitted into us. That's good for that. All right. It just keeps getting rid of my presentation. Sorry about that. Having Teams issues. Come on, load. There we go. You can see it, right? Yeah. Okay. Severe weather and air quality policy on our website. We do have, especially this coming outdoor season, there is going to be rain. There's going to be thunder. For the U10 to 12s, field closure lines, they are based on the home team. the home team. So you will go to the website of the home team's club, and there they will have posted on the front of their website field closure field statuses of their fields. So please take in mind, they're supposed to have them updated by 4 p.m. during the week, and first, I believe first thing or twice a day on the weekend they should be updating those. But please make sure that you take a look at that for the rain out. Thunder, lightning, all of the rules and that is all on our website as well. And I'll show you there. I do have a slide coming up that has those policies on there. So it's pretty much if you hear thunder, you get off the field, you leave. And it's 30, I believe it's 30 minutes. All right. This one here. So, and air quality, we do get smoke. So that is another thing that you'll be able to find on our under league. You'll be able to see the weather policies that we have there as well.
So right now I have a question. Where do we find upcoming tournaments in different cities or provinces? So if you go on the Alberta Soccer website, they have a tournament calendar that they post all tournaments in Alberta that are sanctioned by Alberta Soccer. So you'll find those in our province. You could go to BC Soccer website, the governing body, and they will have a tournament schedule as well. Or you just seriously Google tournaments, soccer tournaments in Canada and the US, and you will get lists and lists. Or you are welcome to phone the office because our teams travel more than anybody, all of the rest of Alberta combined. So we can provide you with some good tournaments based on where our teams have traveled in the past.
Okay, so team officials. We did go through some of that already, but there is a code of conduct for players, parents, team officials, all in our rules and regulations on the first couple of pages. So please take a read through that when you have a chance. Zero tolerance on referee abuse. Again, if there is anything that is submitted or complaints by the referees about specific teams, we do have a zero tolerance policy that you can find under the league rules and regulations as well, those forms there. Team official requirements. As team managers, so on your roster, you'll be able to see your names, and below each of your names, you'll have roles, either team manager, coach, assistant coach. That is really important to make sure that your club has assigned you a specific role, because each role does come with their own qualifications and certifications that are needed. So as a team manager, you do need to have, even though you're stating that you're not going to be on the bench, but you're on the roster as a team manager, you must have a police clearance with a vulnerable sector search. If you have not yet gotten that done, or you don't have one in the past that's valid past 3 years, I believe it is, please send an email as soon as possible to Laura. I'll get Rachel to write that in there. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Send an email to Laura and she'll be able to send you a voucher that'll help you get that started. So that is at no charge for you to get your police clearance completed. You will also need to have respect in sport done. It's a respect in sport for activity leaders. That needs to be finished as well. So you're eligible on the roster. It's good for 5 years. Contact your club. Some of the clubs do have vouchers and things like that for you to help with the cost of it. But do remember that it is good for 5 years. So please get that done. And I think it's only a few hours. If it's expired, there's recertification processes now that's a little bit quicker to get them recertified. So that is super important. As if you are listed on there as a coach or an assistant coach, please make sure you take a look at the chart of what age group you're coaching, because each age group is different for the coaching certifications that you need to have. So please make sure you look at those charts that we do have on the website as well as in the team official handbook, which we'll link at the end of the conversation here tonight as well.
So Jolene, an EPIC is it's an electronic police information check. So it's basically a police clearance. They just do a new online process of it. So it's a police clearance, like Kim said, with the vulnerable sector search, with that. So that's what EPIC means in soccer lingo.
Okay. Rule of two, again, we've already discussed this, but please ensure the rule of two is met for your team. It's for the safety of the players and it's also for the safety as a coach or team manager. So please ensure that there are two adults, even at your practices. If you're dropping your kids off, make sure that they do have a second adult there. If not, maybe volunteer to be there, but make sure that one of the two are of the same gender as the team itself. All right. All right, schedules and game sheets. So I'm going to pass that over to Rachel and I'm going to disconnect my Teams thing again and go to the website so Rachel can show you rescheduling.
So when it comes to weather rescheduling, if fields are closed from U10 to U12s, the teams will work together on finding a play date, time, and the work with the club to get that game played back on that community field with the club. When it comes to U13 to U19, those are on our athletic park fields that we operate and run here through the city of Calgary. So those ones there, you need to send in the rescheduling form. Kim, what does it say on there? Sorry, my eyes can't.
That's okay. The rescheduling form must be received to CMSA no later than 48 hours following the originally scheduled game so that we can have a chance to make every possible effort to reschedule the game in a timely manner. And it's the responsibility of either team. So it doesn't have to be the home team. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could be either team submits those forms.
Thank you. So once you'll submit that form to myself and just with the original game time slotted in, you'll leave the new game time blank. It is the responsibility of us here at Calgary Minor Soccer to get that game rescheduled for you. So we will take care of all that. Just make sure you get the form in. If we don't receive the form, that game will just sit as an unplayed game in the season. There'll be no scores. It will just sit as not played. When it comes to all rescheduling for all other requests, that is for tournaments, mostly for tournaments. We do have exceptions, grade 12 grads, Sikh parade, stuff like that. We absolutely have exceptions that we will reschedule games. We do not reschedule games for player or coach availability. So if your coach is away, you need to reach out to your club for support. If you are short players, you need to reach out and utilize call-ups. You can also call up a complete team. So if you're a U15 Tier 1 team and you're traveling to Edmonton for a tournament and your schedule's it's filled, you don't have time to reschedule the game, you can reach out to your club and call up your U15 Tier 2 team because it follows the call-up rules, and that whole entire team can play on behalf of you. That stops your game from, because if you can't play your game because you're traveling, you will end up having a default with a fine attached. It's also really important to make sure that these forms come in completed in full. Submitting your form that you're traveling with your original game time and leaving the new game time as to be determined because you haven't come up with the date is not going to be accepted. We need them in full. There is a $50 charge for rescheduling as well, and that will be charged to you once the form is submitted. Is there any questions on rescheduling?
They asked about contact information. So normally every season we do send out to all of the divisions the kind of like a list of all of the other teams' contact informations for their coaches and team managers to the entire division. We were just waiting for, there was a bunch of clubs that still have not yet added team coaches or team managers to their rosters. So we're just waiting to get those in full, and then we'll send them out most likely Monday or Tuesday next week. You'll receive an email with a PDF of the entire division's contact information. If you have recently emailed Rachel for rescheduling, she does normally just send back the contact information for the opposing team if we did have that on time.
So if we were scheduled for the tournament, we need to book a field, not CMSA. That is correct, Carrie. But I would reach out to your club. The club for the outdoor season, the clubs have their fields. So if you reach out to your club, they will more than likely provide you with a field to play your game at no charge. It's the indoor season that, yes, you have to go through the city and try to find a field time, but outdoor, please just reach out to your club. Sometimes the opposing team will offer their field if it keeps them in their quadrant of the city, and if that works for you as well, that's fine. That's fine also. And then we have Chantel. Can the other team not agree to reschedule? Typically, yes, they can. They most of them don't. I've never ran through where a team just refuses to reschedule. Everybody wants to play their games. You guys, you pay for the games, you train for these games. These kids want to be on the field. So if you're struggling with coming up with dates with the other team, feel free to include me in that email. I don't have a problem having conversations with everybody involved to try to get this game played. But yes, you're right. At the end, they do not have to commit to it.
Do you want to talk about travel permits as well, Rach?
Sure. Oh, that's a lot tonight. So travel permits. I gotta remember, can you go on the travel permit
Sorry, I
page
guess
for them?
I threw that
They
at you that you needed to talk about it as well.
I know there is just travel changes so much. So travel permits, when you're traveling within Alberta, you do not need to fill out a travel permit. Anywhere outside of Alberta and outside of Canada, um, definitely permits. Kim's got the page up for you. CMSA charges a fee and Alberta Soccer charges a fee. Timelines are extremely strict. So make sure that if you're traveling outside of the province, make sure you jump onto this travel permit right away here. Look at your timelines. There's strict late fees that are in place by Alberta Soccer as well as CMSA. And you are insured. There is insurance for the players. But it's all there in the documentation. So really, really important. If you have any desire to be looking at tournaments and travel, please go to this page right away. Read up on it. If you have any questions or concerns, send an email to the office here, and Sarah takes care of travel permits. She will reply and give you more information when needed.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add to that, Kim?
Nope, that's exactly it. I just talked to a lady today that wasn't aware that they needed anything like that to go down into Montana. So it's really important that if you're planning on taking the kids anywhere outside of Alberta, that you do come to this page and read up on this information here.
Yeah,
Because it is
tournaments.
mandatory.
Yeah, so when you travel tournament, any tournament you go to, so the reason you have to get the travel permit is it has to be a sanctioned event. And that's a sanctioned event through US soccer, BC soccer, like all the way across. It has to be sanctioned. So if you go to a tournament, say out in Vancouver, and you've put your team in this tournament and you don't have a travel permit, the tournament is not going to allow you to play. So you'll be in your hotels all weekend and you won't be on that field. So I cannot stress more than enough here. Please just read up on it and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Perfect. Referee no-shows. If you do have a game, normally it sometimes happens for the younger age groups, but if you do have a game where the referee does not show, maybe they're sick, we're doing our best to try to make sure like all of our slots are filled for each and every game. Please write on the game sheet, no-show referee, and each of the teams, it is still the games must go on. So what normally happens is each coach of the team maybe takes a half and refs the game, or if you have a parent that both teams agree on that would referee the game, that is how it happens. But the game still must be played. The game won't get rescheduled. But so please ensure that you guys make those notes on the game sheets, but also agree to a referee, agree to somebody to ref that game. Okay. All right, so then we're going to go into game sheets. So I'm going to take you in. Chantal, you're asking why is that? Why is what? Oh, Rachel?
Oh,
It's in our
why
rules
don't
and regulations.
it's in our rules and regulations with the with referees not showing. Tim, help me out here. It's been a while. Melissa,
It's
can
been
you
a
jump
while
in on
since
this?
we've honestly,
Hey guys.
oh, go ahead.
Here's Melissa, Kim.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Just to really emphasize the reason for that. Number one, obviously, the outdoor season is a very short season. And we're trying to do our best to make sure that games are played properly with enough time in between games. Just, for player safety, injury safety, and things like that. Also, once we do our fields and we schedule the original schedule, we do return back any of the empty fields that we may have had available. That's to help keep the costs low, to ensure that the fields that we're paying for are actually being used for the game. We don't want to have a bunch of fields open that we're paying for that don't get used, because that comes out of your guys' team fees and things like that. And so really it's just about ensuring that our games are properly scheduled and spread out accordingly to help prevent injury of players from playing too many games back to back. And really our season is just really short, and we've already crammed in probably as many games as we can in this season. And the other thing is that we actually don't expect that there will be very few games that will have this happen, especially with our U12s tiers 1, 2, 3, and up into the older age groups, because those should have 3-man crews, and so if one of them is ill or not there, the others are still there to be able to continue with the game.
So we have in indoor, we had one of 2 referees walk off before the game, then returned after. As a manager, I wasn't on the bench. I don't see the game sheets after. Our coach just took a picture. Should the coaches write on the game sheet? Kim?
Maybe that referee wasn't scheduled for that specific game. It could have also been a mentor. We do have mentors for our younger referees that come and watch, and then they might be looking at a couple different games. So there's a couple different reasons of why maybe that would have happened. I didn't hear of this or anything like that. So yeah, you guys can write on games. You can please always take pictures of your game sheets at the end of the game. And so if it was indoor, normally this is the first past indoor season that we did have 2 referees at each game. Normally it is only 1. The second referee is there to not ref the game, but just to manage the sideline and to be of assistance. So as long as there was that middle referee, that is fine with that. But definitely you can send us an email with a picture of your game sheet and explain situations, and we could totally have followed up with those referees and found out the reason behind it. All right, so we have been having so many referee courses these past few weeks, recruiting a lot of new referees to try to ensure that we can fill these three-man crews for those U12s and up. And to also, we've been running multitudes of mini referee courses for these younger age groups. So I think we did pretty well last outdoor season with having most of all of our games covered. But so we will be doing our best and trying our hardest to ensure that this does happen. U10 to 12s, yes, U10s and 12s is a no score, no standings, but we still want the score written on the game sheet just for statistic wise. And then we still want you to enter the score in Demisphere, which I will show you in a few minutes. So please enter those scores anyways. Every year at the end of the season, I do run the stats for these 10 to 12s, and I do send them off to the technical staff of each club so they can look at those stats and then they can do their due diligence in placing those teams appropriately in the next season. So we definitely do use those scores and standings for the U10s to 12s, but we do not advertise them or show them or anything like that.
Robin has how many refs should be? Sorry, that popped up. How many refs should be on the field for the younger groups? It's
10 to 12s, they will have, 10 to 12, 10 and 11s will have one referee minimum. Usually we do have a multitude of mentors. So they may have a mentor referee there for them for their games. Not every game. They'll get one or two games where the a mentor will come out to them and give them some help and stuff like that. So if you do have a child that is a brand new referee as well, we've had that last night on the meeting. Please ensure that they do get set up with a mentor because it's a great program that we have running here for the mentorship program. Okay, so next we're going to talk about game sheets. So I'm going to show you of where you log in, how you log in. So let's try to log in here. If I can get it to show. There we go. So I'm using my Gmail, my non-CMSA roster. I added myself to a team. Oops, let's go back to the login page. Okay, when you first log into Demisphere, this is where you go. So if you do have multiples of different email accounts, make sure that you're logging in with the profile that is on the roster with that email. If you want that swapped, send us a note and we can definitely switch out those emails and make sure the correct email that you want to use all the time is on that roster. So you're going to log in, you're going to see this front screen first off. This is where you'll go. You're going to go and you're going to choose teams. And then this will pull up your list of the teams that you're on. If you're on more than one team, they should all pop up here. Also, if you were on previous teams, so in previous seasons. So if you were on a team in this past indoor, the past outdoor, they will still show on this list. So please just make sure that you are choosing the outdoor 25 team roster and the specific roster that you are choosing to look at that specific time. So once you choose that, it's going to pop up. So I chose a roster that did have some errors on it, just so I can show you all of the different errors that there is a possibility to have on your roster. Okay, so first things first, when you first look at it, you'll see your rostered staff. Now, if you see one of your staff members, that is red. So you can see that I am showing red here. And if you hover anything red, if you hover over it, it will give you a description of what's wrong. Sometimes it's in verbiage that we don't understand, which is okay. But so if you hover over this one, it says exclude team staff from roster forms, risk management status not equal approved. So this means I don't have a valid police clearance in my profile. So if I am the team manager, or if Scott, who is on as a team manager on this roster, he sees that Kim is showing red, meaning you need to contact that coach and let them know that they need to get in touch with Laura at Calgary Minor Soccer right away and get the voucher or the letter and get my police clearance updated. If I have a current one that's current within the last 3 years that does have a vulnerable sector search on it, you're more than welcome to send that one in. Please be patient. Don't email Laura over and over and over again. She does have hundreds of people that she's trying to get updated as fast as she can. So if you've already sent her your information, please be patient. You can definitely, if you sent it over a week ago, give us a call and we'll follow up with her as well. But that is what means when a coach is red. So if I'm red and it comes to Saturday and I'm still showing red, first thing, my name will not print on the game sheet. So it will be excluded from the game sheet. Do not write my name in on that game sheet. I am ineligible to be on the bench at the time of the game. So just leave it off, and it's up to Kim Kerr to get her profile updated, okay? If my status showed beside roster status, if Dave is good to go, but say Dave had ineligible here in roster status, if you see them with ineligible beside them, any coach, that means they do not have an updated respect in sport in their profile. So if you have completed that, please send that off to Laura as well. But that is what ineligible means by a coach. Can you get a card if my police clearance isn't back yet? Yes, you can still come into our office and we can definitely get you a card. That's no problem. Because you'll have a profile and you're approved right now on Demisphere, so that means she probably gave you a voucher code. It is a time of a waiting period to be able to get a police clearance done. So we do give that little bit of a clearance wait time so for sure come into our office and we'll get you a card. All right. So for coaches, the two big things right now, if they're red, that means no police clearance. If they have ineligible beside their name under roster status, that means no respect in sport updated. Okay. Those are the two things that you need to look at for your rostered staff. Scrolling down into players. This is where it gets a little sticky off and off of what's missing. I'm not sure what's missing. If the player is red, there's two things that it could be. Hovering over it again shows you what it is. As for these two players, it means that it says play down not permitted, meaning they're older than the age group that they are allowed to be in, as according to their birth year. So if clubs determine that players need to play down a birth year for developmental purposes, for what's best for this player, if it suits him, they're just not set to be on that older age group team. There's a lot of different instances, and it's up to the technical staff of your club to determine what's best for those children. So they do fill out those forms. I just haven't yet got to these ones. I had a bunch of them submitted today, so they will be checked off prior to your game. But those players as well, when you print the game sheet, if they are red, they will not show up on the game sheet. Okay, so you can definitely contact your club and ensure that they did submit the proper paperwork to make sure that those players are turned back to regular status.
And I just, so Mary's asking about picking up her player card and doing her respect and sport course. They play on Sunday. She's going to do it on Saturday. Mary, it'd be the same for you as our expectation with players with waivers. If you do your course on the Saturday, you're going to be able to print off your certificate, your Respect in Sport certificate. You can download that onto your profile, or you can send Laura a copy of that on Saturday night, and then she'll have that in her inbox. So you will still be considered eligible. We just need that information prior to you being on that bench. So just make sure it gets into our inbox prior to.
Okay, so the other statuses for players, the first one is they could be missing two things: a proof of age, which shows here under their birth date. Anything under their birth date, if it says verified, their proof of age is good. If it says unverified, that means that we still need to see a proof of age. So contact that family, let them know that their proof of age is still unverified, and get them to send us an email with a picture of it, or you can do it for them and help them out and send it to our general info box, and then we'll be able to get that updated for them as well. If it's showing verified, but they're still showing ineligible, there could be a couple things. That is meaning that the waiver is not completed. They could also have done the waiver, but created an actual duplicate account by accident, and that we need to merge them and get them fixed on the process. Talk to those parents. If they can show you pictures of the waiver, maybe they emailed it into us, or they can show you the receipt, because if you do the waiver online, it does send you an email with an email receipt saying that the player waiver was completed. If they can show that to you, great. Let them play. We don't want to stop a kid from playing. So please just let them play. Write on the game sheet there, submitted, saw the picture, please take a look for a duplicate profile, or please take a look for the waiver as it was submitted on this date. And then we'll be able to look for it. Okay, so those are the couple different things that you'll be able to see. If you're still having questions about any of your players on your roster, for sure to send us an email. We're trying our hardest to get through, especially the teams that are playing this weekend. We're doing our best to try to make sure that we reach out and get these kids approved before the end of the days, I guess. We'll be working all weekend, so we'll work together and we'll get them done, okay? All right. Okay, so those are your waivers. Now, jersey numbers. I am giving you the ability to edit your rosters right now. So please be super careful when you're in your roster, because if you hit that garbage can, that player will fall off your roster, and don't do that. If you got a note from Seth's mom saying we're withdrawing, we're not playing anymore, don't delete them. Contact your club. It is up to your club to remove players from rosters. So please do not do anything with the garbage cans on the side of the rosters. And also any of the roster statuses. So if you think that you found the way that you can turn them to not ineligible anymore, it'll automatically turn back again at the next morning. So please don't touch any of the eligibility. But you can enter your own jersey numbers. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. At the top of by the rostered players, it might be hard to see on the screen right now, but at the very right-hand side of the rostered players line, there is a circle with 3 dots. You can click that circle, and then there is a gear sign. Okay, so you're going to click the gear sign. Here it will bring up a sheet of all of your players, and here you'll be able to enter all of the jersey numbers for every single player. If by sometimes, and this does happen, if it won't let you enter a number for a specific player, continue on, get the rest of them entered, and then click save. Once that's saved, go to that specific player that it wouldn't let you enter it in as a mass one, and you can go to the gear sign beside their name. You can open that up, and then you'll be able to enter their uniform on this side. Most likely, it's going to ask you to fill in this province or state. So just put in Alberta. That's usually the one thing missing here. So if you'll fill in that portion quickly and then click save, then you'll be able to do all of the jersey numbers. It's kind of important. It saves you time. If you enter you only have to enter them once. If you do have different jersey numbers, I beat you, Tyler. I was going to talk about that. If you have different jersey numbers for home and aways, I spoke to another family or another team manager about that today. More than welcome to do like a 16/2 or 8/9. So you can definitely, that's no problem. And then you can just change that. But for sure, you can definitely do that, okay? For game sheets. Now, if you weren't able this morning to find your print icon, you should now. I worked hard with Demonstrator this morning to get that all fixed back up. So the 3 dots beside each game, that's where you go to print your game sheet. So you're going to click the 3 dots, and then a printer icon will pop up. Okay? If it doesn't pop up, send me an email super fast, but it should. I've added myself to all age groups, and they were ability to print all this afternoon. So you're going to click the game sheet, and you're going to click export. It circles a bit. It gives you a link. You're going to click on that link, and it should open up a PDF for you to open, and then you'll be able to print. So this is what your game sheet will print like if you haven't seen them yet this season. Okay, so you'll have your standardized game sheet. Please don't worry about the other team. Don't worry about the other teams, ineligible players that you're not a part of. It's up to them to deal with their own team. And also, maybe they got their roster updated that morning, and then they printed their game sheet. Okay. And then, but you printed it the night before or a couple days before. So really at the beginning of the season, it is really important to only print your game sheets the day before, even the morning of, if possible, just so we can catch all of the proper elements for any ineligible players. Okay. So that is really important. And here is where they will have the scores. In between the player roster and the coach roster, you'll see the same gender adult. That's the bench parent spot. So that's where we'll ask you to print the bench parent name. You don't need to have a bench parent. If you have 2 male coaches for a male team, you don't need to have a bench parent. It's not necessary. And then our field marshal spot is just below the coach line. So this one is this super important one. Please make sure that is ensured, is written, printed, a name printed in there, every game sheet. Okay. It is up to the teams to bring 1 game sheet to each game. Okay. You don't need to print 2. You just print 1. If by chance the other team shows up and they couldn't get theirs printed, let them use yours. Have them fill out their stuff on their side of the game sheet, and that's no problem. Have them fill out their coach and sign, and they both, and then you can just submit the one with the referee. The referees are the ones who will submit those into Demisphere, or I'm sorry, into CMSA. So please, at the end of the match, when the referee is all done, they'll take their few minutes and they'll fill out the game sheet properly with all of the stuff that they need to do. Then they'll give you the ability to take a picture of the game sheet for your records. Okay.
Kim, so we have a, if the coach is ineligible due to a police clearance, they are removed from the roster. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And
so
if they're missing their respect in sport, they will be marked as ineligible. So if you see that your coach is not on the game sheet when you print it, do not write them on and let them go on that field. You guys will be disciplined immediately. They're not listed on the game sheet because they haven't completed the e-pick, which means they haven't asked for a voucher to get the process started, or they've received the voucher. You get a time frame while it's processing with CPS. If you don't do your voucher on time and you pass that 30-day mark, you're off the roster and you're on your own to get it done. So yeah, just be really careful. If you don't see the coach on there, please do not write them. And then Kim, there's another question for you. Do all age groups have printed game sheets?
So U10 and up have game sheets. So U10s, we actually have a different game sheet for U10s. Our U10 League got sponsored by Papa John's. So it's a little bit different. You might have seen it in indoor, but in the middle of the game sheet there, Papa John's logo will come up. So they have their own different game sheet. But yes, all ages U10 and up will have game sheets. So definitely you'll be able to see that when you print your game sheets, okay? I'm just going to go back to the other screen here.
Are
All
you
right,
doing
so
that, Kim? Oh,
go ahead.
I think Melissa, it's okay. I think Melissa's answered that one. Go ahead.
Players. If there are any players on your game sheet that you know for sure are not coming, cross them off. Okay, so that's super important, especially if, you know, here if we pull up Arton, if Arton is ineligible and we know he's not coming to the game, put a line through him on the game sheet, cross him off. Any coaches that are not there, cross them off. That ensures. So if we go through every game sheet in the office, every time they're submitted, we look at that. If they're not crossed off, they're deemed to have played. Yes, the referee does check off the players when they do see their player cards, but sometimes they're missed. Maybe Arton showed up late and still played the game. We're unsure about that, but if he's showing ineligible and he's not crossed off, he's deemed to have played. So that is super important, okay? So make sure you cross off anyone that is not there that game. And then on the extra lines there that you have on your game sheet, you'll just write any call-ups that you have on those extra lines there. Please write clearly their first and last names. You don't need to worry about the UID number that we have, the CMSA number. It's nice to have, but if you don't have the room or whatever, that's fine. But please make sure the name that's on that player card, please print that very clearly on the game sheet. So then we can look, because we look up every single call up and ensure that they were eligible to play. So if you saw that the opposing team wrote 5 call-ups on that game sheet, don't worry about it. We go through and we check every single player for eligibility that are handwritten on that game sheet, okay? All coaches and all managers have access to see all of this on the website, to be able to print game sheets, everything like that. So that's no problem. Anybody can print those game sheets for sure, but try for the first month or so, please. Maybe just print the day of or the day before just to ensure. If your roster is great and it's 100% and there hasn't been any changes, then, you know, yeah, you can print 1 or 2 weeks in advance, but there's always changes due to maybe there's suspensions. Maybe one of your players got a red card and you know, it's going to show up as his status when they are suspended. The roster status would change from blank. It can change to suspended. So that is an option as well. When we talking about cards, so team managers, it's really important for you to track player call-ups, how many times that specific player. What I've seen was a lot of team managers do it great when they have call-ups. They'll write the player's name on there and they'll put game number 1. So then they're keeping track because they're taking pictures of their game sheets. So then they can see that this is Henry's first game. And then next time he calls up, they'll put game number 2. So that's no problem. And that's an easy and a great way to track those. Please make sure that you keep track of yellow cards for your players. Okay, players they're able to get 3 yellow cards, not all in the same game, but 3 yellow cards throughout the next few weeks. And then after their 3rd yellow card, it is a 1-game suspension. Okay, so then the next set, if they get up to another 2, so if they get 5 yellow cards in the season, it's a 2-game suspension. Okay, and then if they do end up getting more, which I would hope that they not, if they get up to 7, we actually do bring them in for a hearing and have a discussion. Our discipline coordinator will have a discussion with them about what's going on and why this is happening. Okay, if you're keeping track and you know that I use Henry a lot. Henry got 3 yellow cards, but you haven't yet seen a suspension notice from CMSA, and you guys play that night or you play the next day. Please cross his name off, let Henry know that this is your 3rd. You need to sit your next game. Cross him off, write on the game sheet, serving 1-game suspension for 3 yellows, or however you want to word it, and then send us an email to Garrett, our discipline coordinator, and just say, hey, we tracked that he got 3 yellows, we've sat him, he served a suspension, just so then we have that on record and we're not sending you another suspension notice stating that they need to serve. Because it does take time for us to get our game sheets. They're not always delivered to us as fast as possible. So we may be delayed by a few games. So we want to make sure that, players are serving their suspensions as close to the games as possible.
So Chantel asked the question, can another coach from our club be added to our game sheet if they are not rostered to our team as a replacement coach? Yes, Chantel, it would be as long as you're replacing your coach with a coach that has their credentials, you handwrite them on the game sheet, and it comes to the office, we'll check it. If that coach doesn't have their police clearance or their respect and they are ineligible, your team will incur those the penalty for that. So just make sure that if you are using another coach, that they have all the proper requirements to be on that bench as well.
That they're on a current roster. They have to be, they can't have coached just an indoor and they're not rostered to coach at all this season. They have to be on a current roster.
Sorry, missed it. We fill in coach's name for our team only, also the field marshal. Yes, just for your team, you're going to put your coach's name, print it clearly, as well as your field marshal. The other team will take care of their game sheet. You just take care of yours.
Yellow cards, they start when you have player cards. So I've seen the odd yellow card for U11s. I have seen a few at U12. So they definitely can start at those ages. You don't see them very often at all, but for sure they can start when they actually have those player cards.
Okay. Chantel has another question. Kim, can players be called laterally from another team within the club? And are the limits of 6 the same? And is Devel and Dev Plus different or lateral?
Okay, so for U10 and 11, you can use call-ups from any of those. So there is no call-up list. So a U10 player can go and play in Dev. They can play in Dev Plus. Same with U11 and Dev Plus. There's no limits on there, and there's no 6-game limitation for those age groups within those 2 age groups. If the U11 player starts moving up into the tiers, so U12, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., that's when it is a 6-game limit per team for those. Okay, laterally, no. Anything U12 and up, there are no lateral call-ups. So if your club has two teams in tier 1, U12 tier 1, you can't use the players from the other team. Same moving up in anything. There is a great chart of where you're registered and then where you're calling up from that we have in our rules and regs book that you could print off that one page and keep it in your team manager book or whatever, and then you'll be able to make sure that you're using the call ups properly.
Yeah, that's on page 27 of your rule book, Chantel. It's really useful. Tyler, do referees know they can use cards for U11? I have seen some pretty serious infractions that should have had at least a yellow, even from our own team.
I think they do know, but also remember a lot of those referees for U11 are brand new referees. So I think they might be a little bit nervous about using those cards. That is something, definitely, if you've seen something for sure, definitely shoot us an email, have call the office, and you can have a conversation with our referee coordinator, who manages all of our mentors. And maybe we need to send a mentor out to either that referee's next game, or even send one of our CMSA staff to that specific team's next game, just to have a see of what's going on, why is it so rough. But I think that they are aware, but I do see very limited because it is new, right? It's kind of scary. It's scary just to, talk to coaches and let alone pull a yellow card out for a player and coach. Okay. So we do try to do our best. But that is something for sure that, they can work on, but it's new for everyone. All right. So that is pretty much your website scoring gaming. Entering the score. So after your game, it's up to either of the teams to enter the score. To reiterate, you 10 to 12, please still go back in and enter the score. You'll do it in the same spot where you printed your game sheet. So after the game is completed, you will go back to the spot. You're going to click the three dots, and instead of the printer icon there, it's going to be like a little paper clip. So you'll click that paper clip, and then you'll be able to enter the score. You don't need to enter any of the discipline that's on the game sheets. You don't need to enter any of who scored, because as of right now, we don't track that. I'm hoping moving forward, if we get into more of the digital score game cards and things like that, we'll be able to manage of number of goals and stuff like that for the kids. But right now, all I need is the score. Okay, it'll automatically switch it. If it was a 10-0 game, it'll automatically update to a 5-goal spread max. So it'll be, if it was 10-0 and you entered 10-0 in the score and you click save, and then it pops up, it's going to show 5-0. Okay, and that's it. So that 5-goal spread, if it was 7-0, it would be 5-0, and so on. Okay. The paperclip only shows up after the game is over. So in this one here, that paperclip will not show up until probably after 5 o'clock. Okay. So definitely you won't be able to enter it. If it doesn't show up at all and it's after the game, it's most likely that the other team already entered the score. Okay, the score entry does work on the mobile app. I've seen clubs do it. I personally just have not done it yet, but I do believe it does enter on the app as well. So that's no problem there. Okay.
So Tyler's asking a question about the referees. Would it be out of line if it happened before halftime to have a chat with the ref just to let them know, more so if it was for our own team? There's a kid on our team that would definitely benefit from seeing a yellow card. Do you know
Tyler,
what?
why don't you send us an email about that situation? I really want to make sure that I'm giving you the correct information on that young of referees, like even those mini refs coming out to the U10 and 11 games are in fact taught how to properly do that to give out those cards. So send us an email and ask that question again and just reiterate that. And I will get our referee coordinator to talk it through to you. And then if it is something that they need to do, or maybe I'm totally wrong and maybe they're not allowed or not supposed to, which I've seen the cards. So I think it all depends on the referee, but we'll definitely have that discussion with you as well. You'll enter your team score. You enter the score of the game. So you'll go to the schedule, you'll click the paperwork, and you'll click home team was for Southwest. So home team got 5 and villains got 3, or vice versa. If you enter it incorrectly, if you swap it by accident and you gave this, like, the other team the wrong number, so on, send us an email, but we do need a picture of the game sheet in order to make that swap or make the corrections. Okay, so that is why it's another really good thing is to make sure that you do take pictures of your game sheets for your score, for your records. But send us an email along with that picture of the game sheet. Just say, hey, I swapped scores by accident, or I entered it wrong. Can you please update it? And we'll be able to for sure do that. Okay. Any other questions that I think I've missed on your rosters? I know I dove pretty deep into it, but it is one of the biggest things and concerns. But we'll put in we'll definitely put our emails in right at the end of the conversations here, and shoot us an email if you have any concerns over your rosters. It's probably easier to answer those specific for your teams. Okay.
Kim, can you change over to the website and show them where our official team handbook is that captures a lot of this, just so they have that reference over the weekend when we're not answering phones.
So when we send out our division contacts as well, we'll include this in the email when we do send it. But if you go under technical on our website, the team official handbook is right here. This is the information that is here for pretty much coaches as well as team managers. So all of your information is here that you know. So here's your code of conduct, your resources, quick links to all of our forms and guiding docs, video resources, everything like that. And then steps to become a coach, what is needed. So the coaching stuff is all at the top. Okay, there's quick links in this document as well for all of those reporting forms and complaint forms that we've gone through. If you need any of those, that is all here as well, okay? And then if you also, there is quick links when we get down here. I think it's here it is on page 10, printing game sheets. There's a step-by-step guide for that. This one, it does say contact your club or CMSA for entering jersey numbers. I'm going to get that fixed with a step-by-step guide of how to edit your jerseys numbers. But just what I've shown. If you send me a quick email, if you don't remember, that's totally fine. I can just shoot you off a quick step-by-step guide of entering jersey numbers. But everything that you'll need is in this guide.
Okay. Chantel, yes, you don't have, the coach does not have to sign it. We just want names written in that are readable. That's why we took away signing game sheets, because we had no idea what signature belonged to who. So just make sure their names are written in very clearly under your field marshal and the coach.
At the end of the game, also, when you go to take a picture of the game sheet, don't just snap a picture and walk away. Look at the game sheet. Make sure that the score is what you saw in the game. Make sure that they wrote that down properly. Look at it thoroughly. Check to make sure the right players got the right cards. That yeah, the goals were given to the right person. For us, it doesn't really matter, but the definitely the yellow cards, the score, because if you're taking pictures of those scores and you walk away and then you try 2 days later to be like, hey, no, the score was supposed to be 5-3, not 4-3.
So we also have Natasha. You don't submit the game sheet to CMSA. That's a copy for you to keep. So you take a picture of it. That's for you for any references, any discrepancies that might have happened. The referee submits the game sheets to Calgary Minor Soccer. Your job is to keep that game sheet and track your cards on it, and also to update the score. You don't have to submit anything to Calgary Minor. Francisco, sorry for this random question. Is there any rule or guideline for assigning jersey numbers? Some players want to keep their numbers from previous season. There's no rules. You just need to have jersey numbers in there. If they want to keep their same numbers, that is totally fine. Matthew, does U10 track goals or just finals? Sorry, I may have missed this. We don't,
You
go
don't
ahead,
have
Kim.
to, yeah, you don't have to track who scored. We would still like to see the goal. If you guys wanted to, that's totally fine. Have the referee put on it. I do believe they're told to check it all off. It's harder for the U10s because they don't have player cards, but they do have jersey numbers, so they should be able to mark who scored and all that sort of stuff. But we do want to see, we really like to see that if it was 12-2 or if it was really bad blowouts like 15-0, we really want to see that on the game sheet, just so that fact that we can track that down the road in for game for stat purposes, where we're placing the teams properly. Referees, right? The referees will fill out the game sheets. When I'm saying that you go over the game sheets, just make sure it's correct and have that conversation with the referee there at the field, because after the fact, there's nothing I can do. We may be able to give a call to the referee and find out, oh, did you miss up giving that yellow card to this player, not this player? Because they do write them in their little books and stuff. And some referees do keep that. But please, it is up to you to make sure that those game sheets are correct. And then maybe you did forget to write down the field marshal's name. Write it on there quick, because they submit it to us. Okay. So we need to fly through here a little bit because I know I am talking way too much. So we're going to quickly go over Alberta Soccer Championships, so provincials. So provincials is for U13s, U15s, U17s, U19s. They're not the U14. If your team is in U14 or U16, they do not qualify for provincials at all this season. Okay. But they still do get a Challenge Cup at the end of the season. So all age groups get the Challenge Cup. So you can qualify for provincials for 13, 15, 17, 19, 2 ways. Okay, so we go by, first way is league standings. Okay, so we go by the first in league standings. So just a reminder, out of districts do not qualify for provincials through us. Okay, so they do not qualify in league standings. So say there is an Okotoks team that ended first in league standings. So you need to keep an eye on that. If you have multiple out of districts in your league, in your division, that they don't qualify. So if you're below them, that might push you up. Okay, so it's first in league standings is the first way to qualify. So that would be CMSA 1. And then as CMSA, we always send a minimum of 2 teams to provincials for each division that we have teams in. So CMSA 1 would be league standings, and then CMSA 2 will be the Challenge Cup. So the winner of the Challenge Cup and the winner of league standings. If by chance that ends up being the same team, then it would fall back into standings, and it would be the second team in league standings with the highest goal differential, everything. So the second place team, okay? So first in league, first in challenge, and then if that's the same team, then it will fall back to the league standings for the next in line. If your team does not want to participate or go to provincials, you need to opt out. There is the dates, there is forms on that under league forms on the website. There's a provincial opt-out form. Even if you think that, oh, we'll just come in last place anyways, we're just, we just want to play soccer, fill out the form. I've had it before where all of these teams have opted out and it ended up being this last team and they're like, we don't want to go, but they never opted out. So they actually are, there's a lot of fines in if you end up not going to provincials and you did qualify. So please, that is super important. Have that discussion with your team. And you won't know any of the locations. The dates are already on the websites, but you won't know the locations of where the provincials will be held, probably till mid-June, I believe. And I think that's after our opt-out date. So please have that discussion if they would be willing to go to Lethbridge or Fort McMurray or Grand Prairie or anything like that for provincials if you do qualify. So please have that discussion with your teams, okay? And again, that is 13, 15, 17, and 19.
So opt-out dates, for reference, Tier 4 provincial opt-out forms need to be submitted by May 30th. For Tiers 1 to 3, provincial opt-outs by June 13th. So keep those dates in mind. Like Kim said, you guys get a lot of fines that are attached to it if you don't fill them out and you don't want to go or aren't able to go. So.
Okay. Yeah. So you normally have the discussion with your technical staff as well. There's a lot of rules around making sure. So if you're in U13, 15, 17, or 19, and you have a bunch of older players that were age exempt down playing with your team, those players are not eligible to go with you. Okay. So if you have 15 kids on your roster and 5 of them are age exempt, that only leaves you with 10 players. Okay. Can't really go to provincials with 10 players. So we need to really have those discussions with your technical staff, especially about transfers. There's big rules about transferring up and down for provincials. So make sure that you have those discussions with your clubs. Okay.
So Chantel, the provincial locations typically don't come out prior to our opt-out. Alberta Soccer runs provincials through Alberta. People seem to believe that it should be held in the hubs of Alberta, which would be Calgary and Edmonton. We have teams that, like Kim said, Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, these guys continuously travel to the big hubs. So a lot of the reason that it's not posted early is us don't want people to opt out based on location. We want you to opt out because you don't feel like it's a good competition, you're not ready for the competition, or you don't have enough players for those reasons, but we don't want people to opt out because they don't want to travel to Grand Prairie. They travel to these provincials every year. So it's kind of nice for some of these, small little towns in the middle of nowhere to have the opportunity to host. And I'll tell you, these places they will host and they will show you a good time because they want you there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to answer, Kim, just really quickly, Jordan's question. Jordan, so the reschedules for weather is when you would work with your other club and put your play date. It is also with tournament reschedules. You do the same if you're rescheduling for a tournament. You do pay the $50 fee. That is for everybody. That's an admin fee. We have to make sure we're canceling referees. We have a referee scheduler that now has to go and take out games and input new games and get new referees. I have to change your game in the schedule as well. So that's strictly an admin fee, that $50, but it applies for any reschedulings, any rescheduling due to tournament play.
Hey, so perfect. So, ASA Insurance, we just want to remind you that when you do register with your club and your club registers, your players with us, we do pay a player fee to Alberta Soccer for insurance coverage, meaning those kids are covered. So if you do have an injury on field, so back to Henry. Henry falls down during the game and he breaks his arm. Okay, please inform those parents that there is insurance coverage. If, for physio, for anything like that, even I do believe even dental down the road, like for anything, but anything that happened in that game, they are covered. But the forms have to be filled out. They're located on the website. You'll be able to find them on our website as well as Alberta Soccer's. But the forms have to be filled out and submitted to Alberta Soccer within 30 days of the incident. Okay, so ensure that you get doctor's notes, everything like that. But please take a chance to look at that on the website as well. And it will be in that team officials handbook too that we send out, that information as well. Okay. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
also just keep in mind that that's not just for league games. When you guys are out on your practice fields training, players get hurt as well. So it is for all sporting, like all your soccer components, your training, your academy, and your games for those insurance. The forms are filled out from Gerardo and Heather. Any injury forms are filled out by the parent. The parent will fill all those out. I do believe they've changed them. I believe there's a club section.
I think there is a club section that they have to fill out as well, and you'll send it to CMSA because then there's a spot for us.
Yeah, you send that to Melissa Collinson, the operations manager here, and she takes care of submitting those forms to Alberta Soccer. Like Kim said, even if they sprain their ankle and you think it's going to be fine in a week, just get them to fill the forms out, send them in. You guys pay for it. You never know if that injury is worse than what you anticipated it would be. And we certainly don't want you to have, parents losing money out of pocketbooks when they could have had this insurance coverage.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll try to get through the next little bit, not keep you on too much longer. We do have some upcoming CMSA events that we want to inform you about. We have our brand new Papa John's Victoria Cup tournament coming up on May long weekend. We do have some out-of-town teams coming in. If any of you I know are of the older girls or boys age groups, I know we do have some BC teams coming in for all the age groups, but specifically there's some boys and some girls, either U17 or U19 teams. And we also do have some Northwest Territories. We have a boys U19 and a girls U19 team coming down from there. And we really do need some teams to enter at those age groups. So if you're interested or want any information, you can definitely contact CMSA. We have Kyle, who is our tournament coordinator. With that, we have our grassroots rally, which is U7s to 9s. The end of their season wrap up is on June 21st. We have our Calgary Cup tournament, which is at the beginning of July, which is a great tournament. I know we do have quite a few out-of-town teams already registered for that one. Every division from U13 and up, every tier, all gets Challenge Cup. So Challenge Cup is a Final Four. That's the top 4 teams in the division that plays in that. That is at the end of the season. Okay, so the last couple of days of the season, those would be scheduled with the top 4. Then we also are offering new summer camps that we're offering for the summer for one for boys and one for girls. So if you're interested in that, all of that information will be definitely on our website that you can check out. Those camps should be great. We also do have our second year of our golf tournament. It's called Fairway for Footy. That's happening on June 3rd. If you're interested in signing up for golfing or even if you know of anyone that would like to sponsor a hole, we're trying to raise money for that. So definitely there's a QR code there on the screen. For sure, check those out for us. Last but not least, we have our Fields for Our Future campaign. This is a new campaign that we have promoted in the last few months, maybe months that we have.
It started November of 2024.
Perfect. In November of 2024, we've been working hard. Our current state is that we're out of space. In indoor, we used every single field that we were given for games. If we grow without getting more field space, we don't know where we're going to put them. Everyone wants to increase our game. We want to go to a bigger game in indoor. We want to, get them up there. We can't do that unless we have more space. So, we have aging facilities, lacking amenities, especially spectator viewing. We need your help. We need everyone to look at this campaign, share this campaign, be a part of this campaign, and so that we can grow soccer. The
More
solutions
voices.
the solution that we're looking at is field houses, getting more dedicated soccer spaces, including a new CMSA owned facility, guaranteeing year-round play, enabling current training space to be freed up to train on. Because currently, right now, a lot of the clubs are using gym space. Gym space isn't great for training, but we want to be able to work with the city and work with the clubs and parents and get these field houses built so we have more space for you guys to train and to have your games. We want to make sure that the existing fields that we have get better treatment, get them new grass, get them looked after. We just want to have good fields. We go out there and we see lots of people say, oh, there's lots of soccer fields out there. But if you actually walk across them, there's gopher holes everywhere. Me and Jordan went looking one day for new grassroots locations, and the sizing is wonderful. It's just not upkept by the city at all. So we definitely do need your help. Our campaign impact so far since November 2024, we've had over 2,500 people sign up for as kind of like a membership. You sign up, you'll put in your name, email address, and that sort of stuff. And then it asks you to send an email. It actually writes it for you. You just send it yourself. And it sends it to the government officials. We've had over 1.9 million impressions and views of it on social media. We have over 12 right now government officials that have signed up to engage with us and to try to help us get this campaign off and going. And we've had over 20 media outlets share this campaign. What we're working on ongoing advocacy and campaign awareness. We just really want this out there. So the more people that you can share with and let people know about it, the better. So we're asking you, there's a QR code right here, to take a screenshot of that, sign up, share that with your friends and family. Even if they're not a part of soccer, maybe they're part of hockey or basketball or field hockey. All of those places, they need stuff too. We're looking at building fields and getting it out there. So we're asking for you to sign up. And the more people we can do this, the better. Rach, anything?
No, I couldn't agree more. Sport is healthy mentally and physically for children, as we all know. We want you guys cradle to grave. We want to see them play when they're adults and continue that healthy lifestyle. And we can't do that without facilities. And with the weather here in Calgary, we're struggling. So the more help we can get, the better off we'll all be. And it'll affect my grandchildren and my grandchildren's grandchildren. So it's for the future.
It really is. And we are looking like next year we're getting the World Cup. World Cup's coming to Canada. We're going to see more kids see that. They're going to want to join. They're going to want to play. And CMSA doesn't want to say no. We don't want to have to say we're capping our league, we're capping our divisions, because we want to give that chance for everyone to be able to play this great game. So we're asking you to do your part as well with us and sign up for us. Is there any other questions that we haven't covered?
Do you guys all feel confident in
We're at the
starting your season?
We want to thank you guys for volunteering, being a part of your kids' team, doing this effort. It's a lot of work. I know it is. It's, can be frustrating at times, but thank you for volunteering and doing this for the kids. And that's pretty much what it's all about. Me and Rachel say it all the time. We spend hours sitting at our desk. It's for the kids. And that's why we do it. So
yes.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. And yeah, we're here for you. Everyone at the office is here to support you. Your clubs are here to support you. You are appreciated more than you'll ever know. So thank you.
Absolutely. Rach, do you want to type in your email address quick? If you have anything that you want to know, I don't know if anyone put them in there before, but my email address is kkerr@Calgary Minor Soccer. Rachel's is rhugh, rhugh, at calgaryminersoccer.com. More than welcome. Any questions, anytime. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. So please reach out if need.
And get just a heads up, just give me 3 days, Kim and I, to enjoy our beautiful schedule before you send me 500 reschedules. Because that's what happens. And I'm very proud that you guys travel with your teams and do that bonding. That's super important as well. So thank you again, everybody.